this episode, we are going to look at testing an expected warning. So, let's say you have a function and a module that is expected to give a warning in certain situations. For example, you want to deprecate a function, and then before removing the function, first you start adding a warning, and then you want to make sure that that warning is there and is phrased exactly as you expected. Or for some reason there is a function that has developers decided that in certain cases it should give a warning. For example, here we have the myTools module that has a function called Fibonacci, and that Fibonacci is obviously needs to get a positive number, but for some reason the authors have decided that if the function gets a negative number or something that's smaller than 0, then it will give a it will return 0 first of all, and it will give a warning. So we can test that it returns 0. That's easy, that we already know how to do that. So we call the Fibonacci function, we give it a negative number, get the result into this variable, and then check if this result is equals to 0 with the is function. So now we can quit this test script and run with prove -lt Fibonacci negative, and you'll see that first of all it says that all tests passed successfully because the only test that we had passed actually, but it also tells us that a given number must be bigger than 0. There is a warning here, so this is a warning that got out from the script. Now this is not good for two reasons. One is that people look at it and start saying that, oh, but there is a warning, so there is something bad in the script, and they are probably right. But it's also, it doesn't really test whether that warning is there. So how can we make sure that later on some changes won't remove this warning? And we can override there is this signal handler in Perl called sig __warn __, and then we can add value to this, a subroutine, and it will capture any warning that was given from that point on. And basically that's how the module that I'm going to show you works, using this thing, but we don't have to ourselves get involved with the signal handler. So we're going to use the test warn module that has various functions that can check whether a certain block of code gives a warning. So it has a function called is, how does it code? So let's look at it. Test warn. Look at Perl doc. Test warn. So it has a number of functions. There's the warning is, which will check whether the given block is returning a specific, an exact warning that we are expecting, an exact string. Or there is the warning like, that would execute a block of code and then check with a regular expression whether there was a warning that matches a certain regular expression. So it's just like the is and the like functions of test more. But there's also the warnings are that would also execute a block, but it would expect a list of warnings. So if a certain block would is expected to give several warnings, then this tool can check, list the warnings one after the other, and then check each one of them. And then there are a couple of others to use. And the syntax of these functions is a little bit strange, because it gets a block. This is the block that's going to be executed, and that's what's supposed to give a warning or not. And it gets, without a comma after it, it gets the expected value. So this is an expected string, an exact string, or in the warning like case, it's a regular expression used with QR, or in the warnings are case, it's a block, it's an array reference, so it's an array reference of strings, and each one of them has to match exactly in that order. So this is how the functionality works, and then we can go back to the editor, and warning is warning is, and then it has to have the block, and that's where we actually execute the function. So that's where we execute this goal. And then we are expecting, what was the warning that we were expecting? Something with the given number, right? So let's go back. It says given number must be bigger than 0. This is the exact text. So we are expecting this one. This is the warning that we are expecting. And then we can add, there is no comma here. Remember, here there is no comma. And then we can add, after a comma, we can add some text that it's negative number. That's just the name of the test. Now, there is a problem here because the my result, the declaration of my of result here is within the block, and then because this is within the block, this will be out of scope by the time we're checking whether the result is exactly the same as expected. So we have to declare the result before. But the assignment can only happen inside the block because that's what the Fibonacci function does. So it's a little bit strange maybe that we have to separate it. But now if we run this script, again with the proof command, then it will get exception. And the reason is that it says looks like you planned 1 but ran 2. So this is exactly what happened. Now we added a new test case, so we had the is and the warning is, but we've forgotten to, or I have forgotten to update the number of tests. And if I run it now, then everything is fine. Now it's checking whether both that the return value of the function is correct and whether it gives the expected warning during the execution.